Okay. Welcome back to the Seven Deadly Sins anime review, episode 43. Yeah, I was kind of supposed to do this yesterday, but I just didn't get a chance to do it. Now, one thing I thought was going to be released today, it's not going to release it tomorrow, and that's How Not the Seven Demon Lord, the first episode of the second season. Yeah, I thought it was going to release today, but nope. It's moved to tomorrow for some reason. I don't know why. Yes. This was discussing the 89th episode of the Seven Deadly Sins anime, which is called The End of a Journey from the 4th season of the show. This one is something you probably, anybody who's watched the series, hadn't seen in quite a while. And what is that? The start of a new story arc. Yes, they've done this before where they basically have the final chapter 1 arc and they adapted it for like the final chapter 1 arc and they started adapting the very next arc in the very same episode. They did this before. The last time this was basically with the previous arc, where it started in the finale for the Conrad arc, which is the prelude to New Holy War. This episode here is the end of New Holy War. It's about freaking time. Yes. If you're curious, though, this arc took up 17 episodes. By far the longest arc in the anime, starting from the final 4 episodes of Season 3 and finally concluded with this episode. Well, technically you can kind of say last week's episode was the actual finale of this arc, but this episode mostly is an epilogue to it, adapting the final chapter of the arc, 306, and doing the very first chapter of the Demon King arc, which comes around. I mistakenly thought that this next arc was like 30 chapters. Nope, it's actually 28. So with this episode, there's exactly 27 chapters to adapt. Yep. The first half of the episode is simply this. It's kind of basically rearranging some scenes a bit because the actual episode starts itself different from the actual episode itself. You see, the manga started basically in the Kingdom of Leonis, which they'll get that a little bit later. This episode starts off with the Seven Deadly Sins. Like, Meliodas is back, and of course everyone's like happy to see him. And they mention that, oh yeah, Elizabeth's curse will activate tomorrow. And Meliodas like, I could take care of that, no problem. And so they have Merlin basically turn on like a flash of the actual curse itself, and then Meliodas uses his original power, his original magic, to destroy the damn thing. Yep, destroy it. And well, they kind of in the way got cured of the curse. There's actually a consequence. They don't explain this to like the very end of the episode. So I guess they figured though that the Holy War is over, and then later on we see like with Demon King gone, like all demons are retreating. We have, I think it's Slizer, I think his name is, the guy with the mask, the one who called Merlin Big Sister. He of course is protecting the king, and they're defending off against a red demon, and the demon retreats, effectively in the way ending the Holy War. We also see Mel having a final goodbye with his Oliver Larcidia. Yes, he basically used up all the rest of his magic, so his astral form starts to dematerialize. Well, basically, it evaporates to nothingness. So effectively, Mel is the last of the Archangels. Well, the last of the 4 big Archangels. And also, the 10 Commandments are gone. Well, yeah, all of them. Yeah, they're all gone. I would say, because Mel was actually really, he was previously Escanor. Excuse me. He was previously Escanor. Esterosa. He was actually Esterosa. He was due to manipulated by Gother. So all of them are all dead except for, well, Mel, who was one of the 10 Commandments, so he was manipulated to become part of them, and Zedros. Yeah, he went missing after the defeat of the Demon King. So the only thing is like, okay, before I go back to the Cameos, we have to stop by this big hole in the ground. We have to go back to Edinburgh. Yes, Edinburgh. As in the capital of Scotland. Yeah, in the Seven Deadly Sins world, they don't mention Scotland by name. Edinburgh is an actual place. Apparently, it's a country in the world of Seven Deadly Sins, despite the fact it's just a city. It is in the real world the capital of Scotland. And why are they here? Basically, we have Meliodas and Elizabeth go down the hole, come across a black portal. We have somebody sealed here. Of course, they mentioned the events of the Empire. The vampires of Edinburgh with 7 Diligence were dispatched to take. This actually was 12 years by the events of the series, so 2 years before they were, let's just say, deemed criminals because of the death of the chief holy knight. So he killed. Basically, Miller's killed all the remaining vampires, with the exception of one, Glinda. So he frees her from the actual prison, the actual seal, and of course, like, "Hi, Glinda, how are you?" And she basically was really hoping to see Tidros, and he's like missing. He's not of this world, but basically they don't confirm he's dead. It's implied he is. So Meliodas basically has no problem with Glinda at all. I know his father did, and as far as I can tell, this I thought was quite strange. Even the manga basically is a fault of this too. Like, Glinda says nothing to Elizabeth. She just passes by her, says nothing, despite the fact she has something in common with, well, Glinda. They're both in love with demons, who are brothers. Yep. So after that, and of course, everybody gets reunited with the actual soldiers, which the Holy War is kind of over. It mostly is in the way. There's one small little factor, which I'll get to that, which I probably won't get to until probably not next week's episode, probably 2 weeks from now. So they go back, and of course, well, and then we also see various different things happen, like Hauser, Gilthan are waking up in an inn, and he's sitting next to Margaret, which I thought was quite nice, and Veronica herself is there too, and she's very happy to see her sister's lover is alive, perfectly fine, and it's a nice little scene. And of course, Hauser himself goes out basically to pout. We also see Gilthunder's uncle, Dreyfus, and Henderson just having a chat, and of course wearing casual clothes, which from what I can tell doesn't fit this time period. It looks like something out of the 70s. Yeah, it's more outrageous in the manga. Like, these two look like they're wearing outfits straight from the 1970s. Like, why the heck would a medieval society even have 70s style clothing? I have no idea. So then, of course, after they have their brief conversation, and then, of course, well, then everybody goes back to Boris' side, has a big celebration. And, of course, the king himself has, well, Caesar and, like, one other guy to stay by his side for now. And, well, even though they want to rebuild the kingdom of Leonis, which that's what they plan on doing. And then they have, like, there's a big party at the Boar Hut, the new Boar Hut, where even the king is there. Yes, the king of Leonis himself is actually at a tavern, which is something you don't actually see in the series. Like, unless you read the manga, you're like, wait, what the heck is I get maybe the Holy Knights being here, but why is the king of the Leonis, the king of this kingdom here? Well, you celebrate. You also see that, I think it's, I'm trying to think, what was his name? Gauser? Goth? It's Dravis' son, where he basically is picking up Veronica. Yeah, from what I read, these two became a couple after the war.
I want to go potty.
Go ahead.
And don't mess with your toy one more time.
Really? That was my nephew. Apologies for that. So, pretty much is revealed the wall at the party. Of course, everybody's celebrating. Bomber now with Elaine. We also see that Deanne's, let's just say her guardian gets a chance to use the potion. Yeah, I've heard it was a potion in the actual sub. In the manga, it's basically medicine. I think potion works a lot better because that's technically what it is. It's not medicine. It's not meant to heal you. Basically shrinks her down to the size Deanne can go to when she goes on the board. So it's basically sitting outside, which I have been kind of hoping a lot for a while they've been doing this, and they did. And of course, you also see the one I think it's Galaxia's sister, the one who's the advisor to King. King himself is back in his normal, like, adult form. Yeah, he probably got his magic restored, probably because of Elizabeth. Yep. Of course, everybody's partying, and of course, Bon and Meliodas basically so they go outside, have a nice drinking party, and of course, Bon revealing. Excuse me. So how long before you leave? Because they figured out he's going to disappear soon. Yeah. Get to mention, oh yeah, we're going to have Boo soon. But this is a great ending to the episode, and I got handed this episode was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yep. By far, like, one of the best episodes of the series, and probably by far the first, let's just say, peaceful episode in quite a while, after basically non-stop Holy War stuff, and basically jumping around all over the place. Yeah, all 7 Deadly Sins are reunited, but I should also point out, though, at the time that 307 was released, it was referred to as Epilogue 1. Yes, Epilogue 1. Yeah, this is basically, at the time, supposed to be part 1 of a 4-parter that was supposed to conclude the series, because at this point, the series was supposed to end at this point, but the writer's like, no, I'll continue for a little bit longer. For, in case you're curious, though, almost 40 chapters. Basically 38 more chapters. This series managed to last for after 300. Actually, scratch it. It managed to last for another, like, 34 chapters. Because it was 35 chapters because it ended at 345. That's when it officially ended. Yep. So, a little bit longer, per se, but not much longer. Yeah, when I was viewing it, I was like, at some point the series can end because, well, that's basically the rumor. But my guess is in the case of the last 2 arcs, and still, even though it's been like a couple, at least in the case when the series ended like a year ago, I kind of thought the Chaos arc was basically a loose plot thread that he just had to wrap up, because even the series comes in, he had to wrap that plot thread up. Demon King felt like something that he had to do, because I think New Holy War is probably supposed to end the series with a few follow-up chapters supposed to end the actual manga itself. But I think he figured, though, also that he needed to extend it a little bit, because any of 310 basically would have not been quite nice for the series. So he extended it another 35 chapters before the series finally concluded at 345 with a proper ending to the series. Because I'm sure even he felt as though he didn't like what he was doing with it, so he had to change it. But yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my comic corner. Yep, I'm going to do 3 more videos today, and that's it. I'm also going to do a review for the newest episode of Shaman King. Yep, that'll be done today too, okay? Next video. Bye.